pretty big news coming from Gary Bettman himself over the All-Star break this year. The NHL players are going back to the Olympics,
Oh, I could kiss him.
both in 2026. Stick time. Stick out. Stick time. Stick out. Stick time. Stick out. Stick time. Stick time. And hockey.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 52 of Stick Talk Hockey. As always, I'm your host, Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours, Trilly.
It's a little bit less light in the studio today. We got concussed Trilly in the house with us today.
I made it.
Made it. Got concussed in your finals
Yeah.
football hockey last night. But hey,
Game one.
we move. We're still here.
I made the play.
We made the play. That's right.
We got our goalie's first shutout. as
Hey,
a
let's go.
Bandit.
Let's go.
Proud of him.
So we got the All-Star game this week, and thankfully, there's been enough news that we don't have to talk about that awful event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can just let that one play out on its own. I think we drew enough attention to it.
Yeah. Because you know what? Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford, they came out swinging at the start of the All-Star break. I don't know if you saw it, but like Patrick Allvin got extended. Jim Rutherford went on the radio and basically was like, we're going to do it now. They were like, should we expect another big trade from you like last year around this time? And he was like, they were in the next few weeks. And he was like, you might not have to wait a couple weeks. And everyone was like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And he definitely gave the, like, I'm not joking laugh. And then sure enough, hours later, the Canucks acquire Elias Lindholm from the Calgary Flames.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I was listening to Freege talk about it, and he was like, I had like 10 minutes before I like went on the show, so I had 10 minutes to figure out what was happening, and it scared the hell out of me. Like, I bet.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was a big move. Kind of out of the blue. It looks like they started talking on Saturday, but it heated up pretty quick. They get their business done early yet again. Going back to Calgary is going to be a 2024 first, 2024 conditional fourth. That turns into a third if they make the Western Conference final. Andrei Kuzmenko, Hunter Brustevich, and Yoni Yermo.
Good pieces.
Coming back's Elias Lindholm. Yeah, and so...
It's a bit of an overpay. But I mean,
yes.
Who are you not going to be overpaying for in this climate?
Totally. Like, I don't really think it's an overpay because, I mean, if you look, I think the comparable rental contract or trade would have to be probably Ryan O'Reilly last year.
Yep.
You know, like Ryan O'Reilly, a little older, a little less offense, but obviously cup pedigree and
certified leader,
big leader, all those things. And he got a little bit more than Lindholm netted. And there's the added aspect of, like, we're talking about division rivals you're trading between here, right?
Yeah, and I mean also Lindholm's, having an off year, so that's also why he probably didn't fetch quite as much,
Yeah, totally. But I mean, really, for me, I'm ecstatic about this trade. I think that Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford don't get way too caught up in the actual value for value on the asset. You know what I mean? I think fans tend to do that every time there's a trade. Oh, is it a slight overpay? Is it a slight underpay? Is this little piece going to be something? Yada, yada. No. Allvin and Rutherford, they find their guy, and they get their guy.
They're smart shoppers.
Yeah. They don't go for just the hype. They don't go for who's going to be the biggest name. Lindholm happened to be the biggest center on the market, but they got their guy in this trade, right? They needed a two-way top six centerman who's right-handed. That's the guy who fits the bill, and they got it. They got it done early. They got it done quickly, and I respect that.
I think it's smart because then you can integrate him into the lineup
Quicker.
ASAP.
Yeah, totally. You get an extra month of having him before the playoffs.
It's huge.
And, I mean, on top of that, there's the added benefit of, well, now he's not on the market for another team to get.
Yeah, and I mean that forces the hot hand on everyone else.
Totally.
We
If
saw
you-
Sean Monahan move 3 days later.
right after. We'll get into that too. But yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for if you're trying to win a Stanley Cup, it's not just the fact that you get the guy, it's that the Rangers don't get the guy.
Yeah, well, and you don't have time to fool around with it. You find that a lot of the guys like last year where there was a lot of hurt feelings by the end of the trade
Yeah.
deadline because they waited too long.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't have time to wait for you.
Well, and I got to say, like, it's such a breath of fresh air coming from the Benning regime before this, who that was literally one of his, like, most notorious quotes when it came to the Tanev and Toffoli situation, everyone walking in the same offseason. Benning came out and said, we just ran out of time. So to go from that regime into this regime, which now twice has done their business way before the deadline, right? Because last year it was the All-Star break as well that they traded Horvat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe the market will change. Maybe it will be different by the time the deadline comes around. But I don't really care, especially because, hey, Calgary, this is a great return for you. Don't get me wrong. You get it. You get a first and all of that. But there's not really a lot of assets that I really care about here.
Well, you shouldn't because your time is now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like when you're contending in your Windows 4 years, who cares if you're going to have an asset that's going to be good in 4 years?
Yeah, 100%.
That's irrelevant. You're going to be ass in 4 years. Congratulations. You're going
Congrats.
to just make their career hell and have a hard time flipping them.
Exactly. I mean, the 2024 fourth, I mean, who cares? Yoni Yermo, the Canucks probably weren't going to sign him anyways in the offseason, so, I mean, that's kind of nothing. Hunter Brustevich is a really good prospect. I've talked about him a couple times on here. I like the kid. He's really boosted his stock over the last year from being a third-round pick. But, you know, again, I really like when an organization sells high on a prospect because there's a good chance that this is the highest Hunter Brustevich's value ever is. So, I mean, sure. First, if it's a later first in a draft class that's a lot weaker than the last few years have been, I'm okay giving that up, even though that's a great pickup for Calgary. And then Kuzmenko, I mean, I really like Andrei Kuzmenko, but the fit wasn't happening.
Well, and you saw how much the fit wasn't happening with Igor Sharangovich, and look at how well he's doing in Calgary now.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And they fit very much the same player profile.
Totally. I really don't think that Kuzmenko would have bounced back in a meaningful way in Vancouver. And I don't think that like if he does bounce back in Calgary and like put up a ridiculous amount of goals, I don't think that should affect how we view this trade.
No, I don't think so either, because that's going to be a direct product of him being in Calgary and not in your system.
In a new environment. Yeah.
Exactly.
100%. So all in all, like I really, really like this trade. I mean, and it shows the Canucks have sat back and they've pushed their chips in, man. They're ready to go.
Yeah. No, and I'm excited about it, honestly. I'm going to be tuning into a lot of Canucks hockey now.
Yeah.
If it's not blacked out, I'm tuning in.
Yeah.
Because you gotta. That's a hell of a top six.
I mean, yeah, it's a fun team to watch, really. Like, everywhere you look, like, if they're getting pinned in their own end, you get to see Thatcher do amazing things, and then you get to watch Quinn Hughes do amazing things, break the puck out, and then you get to watch Elias Pettersson do amazing things in the offensive zone. I mean, they're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, I love it. I'm excited, and I think this trade is exactly what you needed when you needed it.
Yeah.
I think if you waited any longer, it would have been also maybe overpaying even more.
Yeah,
Because then you would
potentially.
have had the chance to integrate him, like we said.
For sure. And then, I mean, you also get the added benefit of, like, Kuzmenko's cap hit carries into next year. Elias Lindholm's doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't think they re-sign him. I mean, maybe they will if they can get a reasonable number because of his down years. But, I mean, if you don't, that's $5.5 million in cap space that you could desperately use for next season. So, I mean, that's an added asset for them as well.
I mean the cap's going up 4 it's supposed to, so that gives you 9.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to throw around suddenly. That's a big player you could pick up, or 3 big depth pieces.
I mean, for the Canucks, I think it's just the ability to re-sign their players. Because, I mean, they're right at the cap right now. And you know.
It's raise season.
Yeah, it's Rays season. Dakota Joshua is probably going to triple his money. Philip Hronek, you know, he's probably looking at $7-8 million.
Yeah.
Elias Pettersson, I mean, like, seriously, could have one of the biggest contracts in the NHL.
I have to leave my I can't trade for anyone who has
Yeah.
a big cap hit in my fan tracks because we pay 70% of like their major contracts
Yeah.
once they get signed.
Yeah.
And I have like 3 players. Like I have
Yeah.
Hronek,
Yeah.
who's about to get a fat whopping raise.
Yes, he is.
And I got McTavish, who's gonna get a fat whopping raise.
Yep.
I'm sick thinking about it. Good for you guys, but also like, god damn, I got books to balance here.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be a big money year in Vancouver, that's for sure. I mean, the nice thing is maybe they actually have a little bit of leverage for once, especially if they go on a bit of a run here. I mean, they can start to kind of set the internal cap thing of, hey, this was a lot of fun. You guys had a lot of fun this year. If you want to stay, you can't take the pay. Bars.
It works for some teams.
It doesn't usually, but there's at least the possibility that they can play that card a little bit, you know?
Yeah, and I think especially with how attractive of a city and a market Vancouver is to play in, especially
Yeah.
when you're winning and adored by the fans and super beloved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably take that hit.
Right.
Vancouver condos have beautiful views.
Don't they ever?
Well, I guess it depends what direction you're pointing in, because like sometimes you're just looking at like a logging mill.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But sometimes you get ocean and mountains in one view.
Yeah. Oh, gorgeous.
So that was the big one, setting the tone early, and then pretty quickly after that, another card fell. Really the second biggest trade asset center on the market for the deadline goes, and that's Sean Monahan going out to the Winnipeg Jets, another Canadian team high up in the standings, looking to add pretty quick.
You know, I don't know if this is the piece the Jets need,
Yeah,
but good for them for actually making a move at the deadline for once.
yeah. They
Or even pre-deadline, I should say.
pre-deadline. Yeah, but it's really the All-Star break is kind of the beginning of deadline season.
It's when you admit that it's hit the fan.
Yeah. So they send out a 2024 first and a 2027 conditional third. Okay.
If they win the cup.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not seeing that, but
Yeah,
whatever.
no. And then just straight up for Monahan. Hey, I mean, this is great work by Kent Hughes, the Montreal GM. I mean, he acquired Sean Monahan as, a distressed asset not long ago. And he got a first from Calgary to take on Sean Monahan. And then, a couple years later, they trade him away for another first. They basically just got 2 first-round picks just for housing Sean Monahan for a little while. And I guess paying him some salary, $6 million ish. But
they had to fill the spot on the ice anyways.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's some really tidy work by Kent Hughes.
Yeah, I like that. That's really, really tidy and smart bookkeeping.
Yeah.
You can't deny it. That's just absolutely beautiful work.
It is, and I mean, sometimes it's hard because there is the relationship between owners and managers as well, right? Where you go, it can be difficult to get ownership on board with like paying $7 million for like a pick. But when you have that alignment and the ownership can see where you're going with it, like this could be really helpful for them, and they didn't really have to do much.
No, and I mean Montreal's in a place where they need first still.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
desperately they have not found a core piece that they can settle on. I mean maybe Caulfield, but
I mean Caulfield, Suzuki.
they need more.
Yeah, they still need more.
They-
That's for sure.
They're not out of it. They don't have nearly enough. I mean they're getting there, but
Yep.
also a lot of their players are super old and
Yeah.
going to be aging out and retiring.
I mean that Calgary pick they got first could be a real high one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be really
I mean
helpful.
I don't see Calgary getting better, so
Especially not now that like Lindholm's gone. We'll see if they go fire sale, but I mean the Canucks pushed hard for Tanev. That's what I heard this week. They really wanted Chris Tanev too.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they go fire sale, yeah, it's over. I mean, even if they don't go fire sale, it's probably over. But
I think it's over anyways.
yeah. Rick Bonus says he'll be playing Sean Monahan with Perfetti and Ehlers, so we might have a little bit of clarification on what that lineup will look like. I don't mind that. Monahan's a good piece, man. He can play kind of anywhere. He's not. He's having a good season, but he's not like a game changer by any means.
I like it because I think that Ehlers just gets dumped on way too much. He's not really like a very physical player. He's very small. He's very quick. And the answer to Ehlers has always just been bury him when you can.
Right.
And it's taken its toll. And this is a team that can't afford to have him get hurt again.
Yeah, totally.
Perfetti's already had some issues. He's had a couple rather rude welcome to the league moments.
Yeah.
It's not what you want to see. And there's definitely probably been some pressure to create more of an attitude in this locker room where you can't push people around, and you're going to get that from Sean Monahan.
For sure.
And if you are able to integrate him into your second line without actually like losing any goals, I'd do it in a heartbeat. That's a big win. And he's a great board player. Like he plays that role perfectly.
Totally. That's the thing. Like him and Lindholm, I think, are such versatile pieces. You can play them kind of anywhere. If you slot him down to the third and Lowry up, there's no problem there. If you want to put him somewhere else, he can play the penalty kill. Like he can do a lot of things for you. And Lindholm's the same way, obviously, right? Like you can have him be your 2C, you can have him be your 3C. You can play the lotto line together, or you can split them up, and you can play him on the penalty kill. You can put him on power play too. You can do a lot of things. And
No, absolutely. And the thing about Adam Lowry, like I like Adam Lowry, it's just that he's small, and he doesn't like have that pushback.
No.
You know, like he's probably going to watch Perfetti get buried and go, damn.
Damn, that's crazy.
Oh, wow. You okay?
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to do anything about it. At least this way, like you can have him around Appleton and Niederreiter, who are, you know, not going to put up with anything.
No.
And he's more protected, and then you can protect everyone else. And you're probably going to actually get better scoring out of your third line as well.
Yeah. You know, I really did think Vladislav Nemestikov was going to be like a star in this league.
I didn't. Yeah. But I understood the hype.
Yeah.
I thought that my take was going to be wrong, but I was sticking to my guns on it.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was going to happen.
I just never saw it in his skating. He's always just been like a mid-skater.
Yeah, his skating's just fine.
You know, but like that's the issue is like if you're just fine, then like you're basically replaceable.
Yeah.
In the new NHL, like your skating has to be one of your best attributes, and it sounds so
unless
like
you have like a lot of, unless you make up for it.
Again, I mean, it sounds super, super redundant to be like, you have to be good at skating, but like you do, and there's like a difference between being good at skating and being an elite skater.
Yeah, it's like the classic. You know, every time you talk to like a scout, they're like, yeah, he's got to work. He's got to build some size, and he's got to work on his skating. It's like, so every prospect I've ever heard of,
yeah. I get really excited when I am on like elite prospects, and they're like, his skating is undoubtedly elite, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
okay, well, sign me up.
I'm a big. The two words I look for are IQ and motor. Those are my favorite buzzwords. Those are my absolute favorite buzzwords. I don't care about your hands. I don't care about your size. I don't care about your shot. I want to know what that hockey IQ looks like, and do you got the high motor, baby? Because that's what gets you games.
Yep. Good takes. That's fantasy advice. If you're tuning in, write that down.
Mm-hmm. So we also have some pretty big news coming from Gary Bettman himself over the All-Star break this year. The NHL players are going back to the Olympics.
Oh, I could kiss them.
Both in 2026 and in 2030. We have confirmation from the league now that the players will be at the Olympics.
Oh, amazing.
Finally. I'm gonna need, hey man, I know you're having a great season. I'm gonna need you to have a couple more, Crosby, because I need to see you draped up in some Canada gear one more time.
Jumbo Joe style.
Yeah, I don't care if you have to be on the fourth line, dude.
Veteran going away party.
Yes, I need to see you, Bedard, McKinnon, and McDavid.
You could just take the face-offs on the penalty kill. I don't 100%.
Care.
If that's your only usage, I still won't complain.
No, me neither. Honestly, this guy is like defying time right now. He'll probably be like an impactful piece. Because I mean, he's Sidney Crosby. He's unbelievable. But it's so exciting. 2026 is in Milan.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
should be a fun
sweet.
Family trip.
Honestly, yeah, that could be gas.
Like, what an experience.
Yeah, no doubt.
Also, like, the NHL like could market this so many different ways. Like, God, I'm a genius. They should just hire me already. Player vlogs, player family vlogs.
Yeah.
Showcasing the moments in Milan.
Great work. Great to see. I mean, I
Gary Bettman acting like the Monopoly man.
It's a big win for the NHL this week. That I do, question the timing a little bit. It seems like maybe a little bit of convenient PR after a tough week surrounding Hockey Canada. That Gary Bettman announces both this and the Four Nations face-off, which we're about to get into.
Yeah.
I don't know. I ain't got nothing to say about it. Just thought I'd touch on it.
Little cover story. Just, there's the carpet and there's the broom and
we'll just do a little sweeping.
Yep.
Yeah. Gender Gary. He also did announce that this is the final All-Star game for right now. Because we're going to be doing a mid-season tournament like the NBA does starting next year.
I love it. I love it.
Thank God.
That's so nice. Like, the All-Star game is so dried up and dead.
Well, I mean, look.
Not even the kids care about it.
No, McDavid tried to make it better. And look, the players liked it, and some of it was better. But then you watch Kucherov do his passing thing.
Oh man,
it's like, what are we doing here?
It was disgraceful.
What are we doing here? Like,
and that just looks bad on Kucherov too. Like, it's just such a classless act. Like, at the end of the day, you're doing a disservice to every fan in hockey. Especially
it's in Toronto. It was $300 for nosebleed tickets to the All-Star game.
Yeah, and I saw some people with the narrative oh, haha, he doesn't like Toronto, Tampa Bay doesn't like Toronto, so of course he was going to give it to them and he wasn't going to give them a show and da-da-da-da-da, and that's what you get. And it's hey, but you don't get that this is a global game. People in Toronto didn't just go to this game.
Yeah, it's not like people it was only there and not televised.
People traveled.
Yeah.
And sometimes a long way to go to this game because they've always wanted to go to Toronto. And what better time than when the All-Star game's there? That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
And now your favorite player is going to phone it in and then chuckle about it on the bench when he gets booed.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking. If I was an 8-year-old and I saw my favorite player just skate around and chew on his mouthpiece and dump a couple pucks at the sidewall, I would have my heart in my throat. I would be so choked.
Player.
Yeah, I would leave the arena with a completely different taste for players.
Yeah, I mean, look, no one we don't like talking about the All-Star game. Nobody likes going to it, none of the players at least. But I mean, Kucherov's contract's for $80 million, dude. Your give a shit meter can go up a little bit.
Exactly. I'm not asking you to give all your time to go and sign autographs for 8 hours.
Yeah.
But you could at least care a little bit.
Try a bit, dude.
Yeah, you're getting paid to be there still, technically. It is still an honor to be there. Yeah. And I think that's getting lost a little bit too, is it is an honor to be an All-Star. It was a big deal at one point, and now these guys are just
well, and I do think Kucherov's obviously a true All-Star, but I do think the one player per team, no matter what thing, has cheapened that honor.
I agree.
Yeah. When they did the shootout thing, I only saw bits and pieces of it last night, but they did the shootout thing where the player gets to pick the goalie that they all shoot on.
Interesting. So I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, immediately the first player that's up is give me Cam Talbot.
Did he score?
I actually didn't see it. What an anticlimactic end.
That's so mean.
Yeah, I know.
Jaw on the floor.
Cam Talbot.
Bro. I'd be so mad. I just go out with a diving poke check. I just take him out.
I did love the Boston goalie trying to give hugs to all the other goalies, and Demko just saying no. Hell yeah, buddy.
No yeet.
Demko's got that Boston hate in him. I love it. So, anyways. So, yeah, back to the Four Nations face-off. That's what we're getting, a mid-season tournament instead of the All-Star game next year. It's going to be a nation, like an international tournament, essentially a mini one, only 4 teams. We're going to get Canada, USA, Sweden, and Finland all competing. I think that's going to be great. Early prediction, I feel like Finland might win because I feel like they're going to be the ones that care.
Yeah.
You know? They're going to have some pride on the line about it. But, I mean, hey, it'll be great to get to see some of these, like these guys suit up that we haven't got to see for, 10 years at this point. Like already we were just talking about Crosby in a Canada jersey again. It doesn't hold the same weight as an Olympic one, but that's still going to be awesome to see.
And I'm sure the jerseys are going to have their own, fun spin on them, right?
I hope so. I hope they do something cool with the jerseys.
They don't have to comply with, double IHF or
exactly
any sort of standard Olympic standard where you can't have certain elements on the jersey. I know one is you can't have the flag on your jersey.
Right.
Your jersey can't resemble the flag to a T.
Yeah.
It can have elements, but it can't be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, it will be a Fanatics jersey, so that's tragic, but
yeah, I mean, we're doomed for that for a while, so I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I know Kucherov is jacked up about this because he doesn't have to go.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
I do find it interesting, too. They have some different rules for this tournament. And so, I mean, immediately my thought is, are they testing them for the NHL the same way they did with the All-Star game in the 3-on-3 overtime? They're going for a 3-2-1-0 point structure.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
3 points for the win, 2 points for the overtime win, 1 point for the OTL, 0 for the regulation loss. Sweet. I think that's great. We'll give much more incentive to finish games in regulation. That's cool. Also, 10 minutes of 3-on-3. Very interesting. So we'll keep an eye on how that looks, how that goes, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to not doing this All-Star thing again next year.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm very tired of having to lose viewership for it just kills everyone's numbers too.
Yeah.
It's not just the NHL's, it kills our numbers too.
Yeah.
If someone sees an All-Star game title, they're like, hell no.
No.
And then they don't come back for 2 weeks. Yeah. And it's like, guys, stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. Give us something meaningful to talk about, please.
Yeah. Big firing this week as well. Kings fired Todd McClellan yesterday. Name Jim Hiller coach for the rest of the season. That's a bit of a crazy one. I mean, look, the Kings have been really, really bad the last month or so. But, I mean, not even 2 months ago, this guy was up there as a Jack Adams candidate. And here we are, rough month. He's out the door. Adios, amigo.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Kings are just in this spot where they've seen this happen too much.
Sure.
So, I mean, something had to give.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I still think they're a sleeping giant.
I agree. I think that they have a lot going for them, but I mean, is it directly his fault? No.
Maybe not.
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, is he the one that has to wear it? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But should it be directly placed on him? No, not really. I mean, look at the goaltending in LA. What are we doing? Come on now, let's be real.
Yeah.
They've had nonstop injuries.
A lot of injuries. PLD's had a hard time adjusting.
Yeah, and is that on the coach? Maybe PLD doesn't connect with the coach, and that's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's been enough roster turnover that changing the coach necessarily wouldn't lose anyone.
Right.
You know, and all the veterans you have there that, might be attached to the coach are also, an LA King more than they are a player under that coach.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And they're also a veteran, so they're also used to seeing coaches change over now.
Right.
It's happened already.
Right.
They're used to it.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
So it might just be the best time in the worst situation.
And again, this is kind of, there's no trade deadline for coaching, but it's one of those things where you just maybe want to get it done a little earlier so you have more time to acclimate with a new coach heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, LA's been one of those teams where outside and inside the locker room, there's been nothing but conversation about how the players are very lethargic and self-serving.
Yeah.
So this could just be a direct message that, like, hey, top guy's gone.
Yeah.
Anyone else can be replaced.
Yeah, 100%.
We can fix our problems or we can trade our problems, but we're not afraid to do either at this point.
No. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Because they do have some nice assets there, and they are assets that are underperforming. But you could still just say, oh, they're having an off year.
Yeah.
They do great in your system.
Right.
We're not lowering the price that much.
I honestly, I think they're, like, if they can get in to the playoffs, like, they could be the 2012 Kings again, honestly. Like, I really would not be surprised to see them sneak into the playoffs as an 8 seed and run to the finals.
Yeah, I agree. Mostly just because I don't think goaltending matters that much.
Not when you have good defense.
No, and especially, like, all you have to do is catch a wave in the off season, like in postseason, and you're flying, you know?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, a guy like Copley, man, I mean, this dude, he's been bumped around. He's had rough stretches, but he's had a couple stretches that look like, whoa, wait a second, there might be something here. And that's how we saw Adin Hill.
And he should be coming off of IR right on playoffs, right?
Yeah, I think just before.
And Rittich has outplayed Talbot for his position to this point. Yeah. So, you know, you don't even have to worry about Talbot as, like, the age issue in the playoffs either, where it's like, oh, can he even handle a workload?
All-star Cam Talbot.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
That's why this system's broken.
Yeah, I mean, you just need a hot couple months, man. Look, Adin Hill's been great, but, like, we didn't see that Adin Hill before the playoffs last year. You know?
Yeah,
it can happen.
Players play different in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I know I play beer league. It's very different.
Yes.
But I have guys that genuinely don't care for the entire year. We were like 6th in the league out of 8.
Trill.
It's awful.
It's not the same, Trill.
We play like a Div 2 team,
though.
Nah. The compete is different for everyone at every level, dude. That's my point. Everyone who you look at is like a lazy SOB, like
Trill with the another ball hockey NHL comparison.
Hey, you know what? We're trying to build the game of ball hockey over here. Get with it.
Tom McLeod? New Jersey? What do you think about that?
I want it.
Do you?
I think he'd be great for the roster.
Yeah,
They're like not too young.
Yeah.
And they're not too old.
Yeah.
And that's kind of his thing.
His bag.
That's his bag. Every time he's had that, like, middle ground roster, it's just really worked.
Yeah. All right.
And I mean, they have the offensive weapons that, like, he likes to activate. They have a tremendously terrible defensive system that he could fix in like a week.
You'd hope, yeah.
I mean, it's like, yeah, his structure is just so much better defensively.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's probably a good look. I do think it's kind of wild that McClellan had like a bad month and was just gonzo, and Lindy's still got leash.
Yeah, you know, more than anything, I think that Travis Green was brought in as like, they were like, oh, your job's not like under fire or anything.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
He's there. He's like, he's already got the like backup keys.
Yeah. Honestly.
He's ready to change the code to the house.
For real though, I'm a big Travis Green believer. And I think that if you were to get rid of Lindy and just promote Travis Green, I would not have a problem with that. I think it could really work.
I wouldn't either. And I think that the Devils also, just with their like turnover in the last few years, probably don't want to eat another coaching contract.
That's fair. That's very fair. Okay, let's finish up this episode just by going over one little All-Star game thing. Mr. Bublé with the press conference.
I love it. I love it. We need to advocate for drug use at the All-Star game more often.
It is the best way to endure the All-Star game. Let's give it a run there, Jay.
The answer is no. I will not be the oldest draft pick the Vancouver Canucks have ever taken at 48 years old. I know you and you. You're a really good hockey. You got good hands, dude. You've got silky mitts, my brother.
You are the first person who's ever told me that.
Because I'm the first real ever hockey fan. My buddy told me this is just a microdose of mushrooms. And he was lying. So I'll be honest, I thought I was in Blades of Glory for most of the time that I was out there until it sort of settled down, and then I realized, holy I am at the NHL All-Star Game. We literally are the heart and soul of these teams. And if they win, it'll be because of us. And if they lose, it will be because of us. All of my text, it was people, congratulations on being chosen to go to the All-Star Game. And I was like, congratulations, I'm a superstar. Thanks, guys, thank you.
That was hilarious, man.
Michael Bublé Unhinged is actually fantastic.
Shout out to Vancouver's Michael Bublé. I mean, yeah, it was just, hey, it's fun to see. It's not what, like, the usual NHL cookie cutter BS you see.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
I thought it brought an element to the game that we probably don't need and probably shouldn't have. But hey, you know what? He was really doing it up. he was doing it upright. He knew how to party.
Yeah, what a beauty.
He was seeing stars with the stars.
Seeing stars with the stars. No, yeah, that was good. The most watchable thing from this All-Star weekend. And, yeah. I mean, the games are starting, like, right now. But I won't watch them.
I can't watch them.
Yeah.
I get to sit at home in a dark room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark room, surely. All right, well, on that note, we should wrap this up. You can get back to your dark room.
Thanks. I'm going to go back to my cave.
Yeah.
Like the little troll I am.
Yeah, fun week. Lots of stuff. Really excited to see where the Jets and Canucks go with these couple of additions. And it's going to be a fun race to the finish line.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a absolutely compelling race to the finish.
Yeah.
You don't usually see it like in the last few years with the point system the way it is.
No.
But the way that things are sandwiched right now, it's just like, oh, it's so juicy.
And I mean, in the West especially, that race for first is so important because like it's like 7 elite teams. So if you get to play the 8 seed, you really want to, you know?
That's kind of really nice.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So, I mean, like if having this ridiculous, regular season and then it's like, well, congratulations, here's Vegas. Like, that's no fun.
No.
Yeah,
it's like, what was it, LA and Edmonton?
Yeah.
They've, like, met each other 3 times in a row, or
Yeah.
It was Tampa, and who was meeting Tampa every year?
Toronto.
Yeah, Tampa and Toronto. It's like, yeah, you finished second. Here's Tampa.
Yeah. Have fun.
What?
Wait, what?
No.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Another week. We'll see you guys next week when the games are back underway. Hockey's back going. Till then, as always, I'm Tico.
And I'm yours truly.
Keep your head up.
Keep your head up. Boom.
Boom.
Wish I did.
Stick talk. Stick talk.